I know I asked you about this before we came on stage, but could you talk a little bit about what the post-experience review or rating system is like? It seemed like it provides a pretty direct channel of communication between the customer and the chef that you might not be able to find at a typical restaurant. So just wanted to know how that works.
Reviews are really hard. Everyone's ever tried to build a review system in software. It's really hard. Everybody always debates about whether it should be 5 stars or not, or whether it should be 3 stars, and we go back and forth on this a lot. But the basic principles of the kitchen serving review system is that it's really important to us that it's 2 ways. So the chefs can also review the buyer and say, hey, that person's really rude, or this person's amazing, I'd love to work with them again, and give other chefs kind of a heads up that might direct that individual. And then individuals can also rate the chef, and they usually provide pretty constructive feedback. For us, we've changed our reviews probably a couple of times. We're only a year old, so it's definitely a work in progress. But I would say that the biggest thing that it is 2-way, and that both parties know that it's a 2-way review, and that kind of keeps the playing field a little bit honest in a certain way. One of the things that we see that is actually kind of nice is if somebody's about to leave, and we have very few negative reviews. In the few cases where something's actually gone wrong, there's a lot of humanity involved in kitchen surfing, because you actually meet the person, they're in your home, you have a real interaction with them, and that means something. Versus somebody you can just troll on the internet, on eBay, that you've never talked to before. And so it brings a level of civility to reviews that's really nice, where if somebody's going to write something that isn't glowingly positive, they often will send it in a message to the chef first and give them an opportunity to respond to it in some way. And that's happened 100% of the time, which has actually been kind of incredible to watch, and makes me feel a little bit good about people.
Okay, Jen. Have you ever given a customer a bad review?
No. I've been very honest, but I've been very lucky with the clients I've had some pretty great people.
Have you gotten feedback from people that you've worked with that gave you constructive criticism that you might not have been able to find? Let's say if you were in a more traditional restaurant environment, or something that spoke to something else about the dining experience that might not be about exactly how you're cooking, but maybe from a hospitality aspect or something else that's part of the experience that you might not have thought about so much if you were just in a restaurant line.
Yes. I think it was the very first brunch that I cooked. It was a very elaborate brunch. I think it was for about 20 people. And the kitchen in which I cooked in, when I walked in, I realized that the oven was working. And the majority of the dishes that I actually designed for this brunch was surrounded around that oven that was not working. So I had to wing it. It was a toaster oven, and I made that brunch happen for those 20 guests. But I did receive the constructive criticism from the clients with that.
It was the client's oven.
It was kind of the client's fault.
Well, it was from MAB. I didn't.
But I took it very well. How I saw it was just, situations like this happen all the time. Especially as a chef and working for kitchen serving, you're pretty much like a traveling personal type of chef, or just specifically what I meant. So you never know what happens. You never know, what kind of kitchen or environment you're going to be in, and you just need to work on it. You just need to make it happen and make it work. So how I took it was, I took the constructive criticism very well, and just thought to myself next time, just have a plan B and C just in case.
She adapted well to that, but it's funny that chefs are basically kind of punk rock. All they need is a heat source. And it's funny that the other story like this is there was a Valentine's Day booking that we had that was a young guy that asked for a chef for Valentine's Day, and he wanted everything kosher, and so the chef shows up, and it's like a bare apartment, and the guy turns out to be like 22 years old, and the chef is kind of like, what's going on here? And like you said, there was a full kitchen, and the guy.
Wait, what do you mean by bare apartment?
Like there's like nothing there. Like it was like somehow this 22-year-old.
Did he have a kitchen?
Like there was a kitchen, but somehow he found this apartment. There was just nothing in the apartment. There was like it's like he had taken like the plastic wrap off the couch or something. And so like the chef and the customer like actually went down to like Evercities to like buy a bunch of new pots and pans to be kosher, like, specifically for this event. And it worked out.
Wow.
So the last thing that I wanted to ask is whether or not of the 1,000 or so chefs that you guys have, I believe that's here in New York, are any of them doing this full time?
Yes.
So, you choose to tell me how much you want to, but in terms of how much of an income you can make doing something that is really contingent on seasons, on just other factors that will affect the number of clients that you get at a given time.
Yeah. So in just to like have comp this to like restaurant land in terms of what the two numbers look like. A line cook in New York would probably get paid $12 to $15 an hour. So like someone that's working at the getting paid $12 to $15 an hour and maybe not getting overtime depending on the restaurant and how friendly they are. And sous chefs, things like that in New York might make $50,000 a year or so. And it's pretty rare that chefs that work in a restaurant environment, unless they're a partner in the restaurant, are making over $100,000. And so on kitchen surfing in New York City, our top earning chefs will do anywhere between $9,000 and $15,000 a month, which is multiples of what they would do in a restaurant.
Just felt real bad about myself. What do you think are some of the factors that contribute to that kind of astronomical disparity?
I actually think that one of the things that's interesting about having Chef Jen on stage is that she's in culinary school, and so she's kind of got that cooking career ahead of her. And I mean, she can probably talk to us better than I can, but she's been really lucky to work with a bunch of really great chefs in New York City. And I'm sure that she's learned tons from every single one that she's worked with. So there's an aspect of like kind of like paying your dues and wanting to go through that process because you're going to work with great people, and that's kind of like how the whole brigade system in restaurants happened. But there also comes a point where it's just like, okay, I'm kind of getting exploited here, and that maybe you want to do something else. And so whether that's using kitchen surfing part-time to supplement your income, or whether it's using it as an outlet for your creativity to do your menus, not your chef's menus, or whether that's deciding at a certain point in your career, like, cool, I spent 7 years working on restaurant lines, like, I'm done, I still like cooking for people, I'm kitchen surfing full time. It's really up to the chefs. And I think, every chef has a different story. Whether they're a Michelin star chef on kitchen surfing, we have those, or whether it's a home cook, or whether it's somebody who's really talented, like Jen, who's like going to go work on a line and kind of like work with some really talented people that want to get they can all find some kitchen surfing.
Well, thanks, guys. I think we're just going to call all of our panelists back up, and we're going to do some questions with you guys. But thank you so much.
Well, thank you.